Most people think they know what a shark looks like. The image is familiar and steady. A strong body moves through bright water near the surface. The shape suggests speed and purpose. Over time, this idea has become fixed. It feels complete, but that picture only describes a small part of the ocean. Far below the surface, in colder and darker water, there is a shark that does not match that expectation at all. When scientists first encountered it, the reaction was not fear. It was confusion. The animal did not look fast. It did not look modern. Its body appeared long and flexible, closer to an eel than a typical shark. Its movement was slow and controlled. Nothing about it suggested urgency. This animal is known as the frilled shark. It lives in deep water, far from sunlight and far from regular human observation. When brought to the surface, it often looks out of place, as if it belongs to a different time. Its shape does not follow the clean, compact design seen in most sharks today. Instead, it carries features that seem older, even unfinished, by modern standards. At first glance, this creates a quiet question. How can a shark with such an unusual body survive in today's oceans? The deep sea is not an easy place to live. Food is scarce, temperatures are low, pressure is extreme. Survival there requires efficiency, not excess. Yet this shark persists. The frilled shark does not behave like the predators people expect. It does not rush. It does not patrol open water. It remains calm, moving only when necessary. Its presence suggests that speed is not always the most important tool. In the deep ocean, patience can matter more. This is where the discomfort begins. The frilled shark does not fit the story we tell about sharks or about progress in nature. It looks like a design that should have disappeared, yet it has not. That mismatch is important. It tells us that our understanding of the ocean is shaped by what we see most often, not by what exists most widely. To understand this shark, we cannot rely on surface rules. We have to accept that the deep ocean follows a different logic. The frilled shark is not strange because it failed to change. It is strange because it never needed to. The frilled shark's body looks unusual because it is built for a different set of problems. Its shape is long and flexible, allowing it to bend in ways most sharks cannot. This flexibility is not a flaw. It is a response to life in deep water, where narrow spaces and slow movement matter more than speed. One of the first features people notice is its mouth. It is wide and sits at the front of the head, unlike many modern sharks whose mouths are positioned slightly underneath. Inside that mouth are dozens of small, sharp teeth arranged in rows. Each tooth is thin and pointed, shaped to grip rather than tear. This design works best for holding soft, slippery prey, not for cutting large pieces of flesh. Along the sides of the neck are the gills that give the shark its name. Instead of clean, separated slits, the gills form folded edges that look almost like fabric. These frilled gills increase surface area, helping the shark take in oxygen from water that contains very little of it. In deep environments, even breathing requires careful design. The term living fossil is often used to describe the frilled shark, but it can be misleading. It does not mean the animal has remained unchanged for millions of years. It means that some of its traits resemble those seen in very old shark lineages. These traits survived because they continued to work. Evolution does not remove features simply because they look old. It removes features that stop being useful. When compared to faster, surface-dwelling sharks, the frilled shark may appear inefficient. But that comparison misses the point. Those sharks are built for frequent meals and open water. The frilled shark is built for scarcity. Its body uses less energy. Its movement is deliberate. Its design reflects a world where wasting energy can mean starvation. Seen this way, the frilled shark is not primitive, it is specialized. Its anatomy is a record of long-term stability rather than rapid change. Every part of its body points to a simple truth. In the deep ocean, survival favors balance, not speed. The deep ocean is often described as mysterious, but its most important features are simple and physical. As depth increases, sunlight fades and then disappears. Water becomes colder, pressure rises steadily. Food becomes harder to find. These conditions shape every form of life that exists there, including the frilled shark. Below a few hundred meters, light is no longer strong enough to support plants. Without plants, there is no steady source of energy. Food arrives slowly, drifting down from above, or appearing briefly as passing prey. In this setting, animals cannot rely on constant movement or repeated hunts. Energy must be saved whenever possible. The frilled shark fits into this system with precision. Its slow movement reduces energy use. It does not swim long distances without purpose. Instead, it moves only when necessary. In a place where meals are unpredictable, this restraint becomes an advantage rather than a weakness. Pressure is another defining factor. At great depth, pressure is many times greater than at the surface. Bodies must be flexible enough to withstand it without damage. The frilled shark's soft, elongated form allows it to tolerate these conditions without relying on rigid structures. Its body bends rather than resists, which helps it remain stable in deep water. Temperature also plays a role. Cold water slows chemical reactions inside the body. This naturally lowers metabolism. The frilled shark does not fight this slowdown. It follows it. A slower metabolism means less frequent feeding, but it also means less energy wasted between meals. Sight becomes less important in darkness. Instead, sensing movement and chemical signals takes priority. The frilled shark does not need to see far. It needs to detect nearby motion and respond calmly. This approach matches an environment where sudden movement is rare and silence dominates. Encounters with frilled sharks are uncommon, not because they are mythical, but because humans rarely explore their habitat. The deep ocean is difficult to reach and difficult to study. Most observations come from brief moments, often accidental. Each sighting adds information, but the full picture remains incomplete. Once the deep sea is understood as a system of limits rather than danger, the frilled shark begins to make sense. Its body and behavior are not strange responses. They are logical answers to a world that rewards patience, efficiency, and restraint. Feeding is where the frilled shark's differences become easiest to measure. Unlike many sharks, it does not hunt animals that are large, fast, or strong. Evidence from stomach contents suggests its diet is made up mostly of squid and small deep-sea fish. These prey are soft, flexible, and difficult to hold onto, especially in dark water, where precision matters more than force. The frilled shark's mouth is designed for this exact problem. It opens wide, allowing prey to be taken in whole rather than bitten into pieces. Inside the mouth are many rows of small, sharp teeth. Each tooth curves slightly inward. On their own, these teeth are not powerful. Together, they form a barrier that prevents prey from slipping back out once captured. This design favors grip over damage. Rather than chasing prey through open water, the frilled shark likely relies on ambush. In the deep sea, long pursuits waste energy and rarely succeed. A waiting strategy makes more sense. The shark remains still or moves slowly, blending into the background. When prey passes close enough, the shark reacts in a short, controlled motion. The strike does not need speed over distance. It only needs timing. There is a popular idea that the frilled shark attacks like a snake, bending its body to launch forward. This idea comes from its flexible spine and eel-like shape. Some scientists consider this possible, but direct evidence is limited. To move this way, the shark would need to anchor part of its body and use stored tension to push forward. Whether this happens regularly is still uncertain. What matters is that the shark does not rely on long chases. This approach is very different from the hunting style most people associate with sharks. Surface sharks often depend on speed, repeated attacks, and visual tracking. The frilled shark depends on proximity and control. It reduces movement until the moment it matters. This saves energy and increases the chance that a rare opportunity becomes a successful meal. By feeding this way, the frilled shark answers the most basic survival problem of the deep sea. It gets enough energy without wasting it. Its hunting strategy fits its environment as closely as its body does. What appears unusual from the surface becomes practical when seen through the lens of scarcity. Much of the frilled shark's life happens beyond direct observation. This is not unusual for deep-sea animals, but it does limit what scientists can say with certainty. Most knowledge comes from rare specimens brought to the surface, often by accident. From these few encounters, researchers piece together a slow and careful picture. The frilled shark appears to grow slowly. Its metabolism is low, shaped by cold water and limited food. In environments where meals are unpredictable, fast growth offers little advantage. A slower pace reduces energy demand and allows the animal to survive long gaps between feeding. This pattern is common across deep-sea life and helps explain why many species there live longer than their shallow water relatives. Reproduction follows the same logic. Frilled sharks give birth to live young, but pregnancies are believed to last several years. This is unusually long for a shark. Fewer offspring are produced, but each one is more developed at birth. This strategy reduces risk in an environment where early survival is uncertain. It is a trade-off between quantity and stability. Daily behavior remains mostly unknown. Frilled sharks are rarely seen swimming freely in their natural habitat. Most video footage comes from brief encounters with deep-sea cameras or from individuals caught in fishing gear. These moments offer clues, but not a full picture. Scientists do not yet know how far frilled sharks travel, whether they migrate, or how they interact with each other. The reason for this lack of information is simple. The deep ocean is difficult to reach and expensive to study. Long-term observation at depth requires advanced equipment and sustained funding. As a result, many deep-sea species are known only through fragments of data. The frilled shark is one of them. This scarcity of knowledge introduces a quiet concern. Animals adapted to slow life cycles are often vulnerable to rapid change. Deep-sea fishing, climate-driven shifts in temperature, and changes in oxygen levels can happen faster than these species can respond. A lineage that survived for millions of years under stable conditions may struggle when those conditions shift quickly. By looking at growth, reproduction, and daily life together, the frilled shark becomes more than an unusual body shape. It becomes a complete strategy for living slowly in a demanding world. That strategy has worked for a very long time, but its future depends on changes happening far above the depths where it lives. To place the frilled shark in a broader context, it helps to look at shark evolution as a whole. Sharks have existed for hundreds of millions of years, long before many land animals appeared. Over that time, different lineages adapted to different environments. Some became fast hunters near the surface. Others moved into deeper water, where conditions changed very slowly. The frilled shark belongs to one of these deep branches. Its ancestry reaches far back in shark history, and some of its traits resemble those seen in ancient shark fossils. This is why it is often described as a living fossil, but that phrase can create the wrong impression. It does not mean the frilled shark is an unchanged survivor from the distant past. It means that its environment has remained stable enough that certain effective traits never needed to disappear. Evolution does not move toward improvement in a single direction. It responds to pressure. In shallow water, pressure comes from competition, predators, and rapid environmental change. In the deep sea, pressure comes from scarcity and physical limits. When conditions stay consistent, there is little reason for dramatic redesign. Stability can preserve forms that appear old to us but are still functional. Fossil records show that many ancient shark groups once existed, some with long bodies and unusual jaws. Most of these groups disappeared as oceans changed. The frilled shark represents a lineage that found refuge in depth. The deep sea acted as a buffer, protecting it from surface-level changes that eliminated others. It is important to note what fossils cannot tell us. They preserve shape, not behavior. We cannot see how ancient sharks hunted or moved. That understanding comes from combining fossil evidence with living animals like the frilled shark. In this way, the frilled shark acts as a window, not into the past itself, but into how certain designs can persist. The reason the frilled shark feels abnormal today is not because it failed to evolve. It is because we are comparing it to animals shaped by a different set of demands. When viewed within its own evolutionary path, it becomes clear and logical. It is not behind the times. It is exactly where it belongs, following rules that have remained unchanged for a very long time. When all the pieces are placed together, the frilled shark no longer feels confusing. Its long body, slow movement, and quiet behavior follow the same logic. Each trait reflects life in a deep ocean shaped by darkness, pressure, and limited food. What first appears abnormal becomes consistent once the environment is understood. The frilled shark is not a threat and not a relic in decline. It is an example of how life can succeed without speed or constant change. Its anatomy conserves energy. Its hunting strategy avoids waste. Its life cycle moves at a pace set by cold water and scarcity. These are not weaknesses, they are solutions. Even so, much about this animal remains unknown. Scientists still do not know how far frilled sharks travel or where they gather to reproduce. Their movements through the deep sea are mostly hidden from view. Climate-driven changes in temperature and oxygen levels may alter their habitat in ways that are difficult to predict. Deep-sea fishing reaches further each year, sometimes intersecting with species that evolved far from human activity. These uncertainties do not turn the frilled shark into a symbol of fear. They turn it into a reminder. The deep ocean is not empty, and it is not fully mapped. Large animals still live there, following rules that developed long before humans began to explore the sea. Our limited understanding reflects the difficulty of reaching that world, not a lack of scientific effort. In the end, the frilled shark asks for patience rather than attention. It shows that survival does not always require change, and that some successful designs remain quiet and unseen. As long as the deep ocean exists, it will continue to hold forms of life that challenge our expectations, not because they are strange, but because our view of the planet is still incomplete.